I wonder if somebody guides our souls into the afterlife by playing a board game. What if we're on a whim of someone's game?
We're all just living in
We're
a
just
simulation.
there on the table and being like, please don't lose the soul gems. Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And today we'll be talking about Catopomp.
Look at this little cute cat on the cover here. Catopomp is designed by David Chow and it's also illustrated by him. It's published by Swaggy Games, who helped sponsor this video.
This game is also coming to Kickstarter, so if you're interested and want to learn more about it, check out that link in the description. Now in this game, you'll be taking the role of Psychopomps that will lead the cat's souls into the afterlife to make sure they're nice and safe. But one of the players will not, so their cat souls will be lost.
No.
I know. Let's go to the table, let's learn how to play. Welcome to Catopomp, a game where you're guiding cat souls to the afterlife, while trying not to be the last one holding cards. Because if you are, you'll lose a soul gem. Lose both and you're out. Everybody else wins. At the start, each player gets a hell domain, a used dice card, and 2 soul gems. Cards are dealt, dice are rolled, and you're ready to go. On your turn, you'll either play a set of cards or pass. Sets can be single cards, multiples of the same number, or a sequential run. More cards always beats fewer, and matching numbers are stronger than runs. You can play from your hand, your heaven cards, or from your hell domain, but never both at once. If you play from your hand, you must move a card to your hell domain. If you play from your hell domain, you can't play single cards until your hand is empty. You can also boost a set by adding up to 2 dice from the center, using them as 1 wild card. But you can only do this once per round, so choose carefully. If you pass, the winning player can, and sometimes must, give you one of their hell cards. If everyone but one player passes, their set wins and they start the next play, playing 1 to 4 cards. The round ends when only one player has cards left. They lose a soul gem and the next round begins with a reshuffle and a new roll of dice. Players who have lost a gem will get a reserved die, which they can set to any value. The game continues until someone loses both gems. When that happens, they lose, and everyone else wins. Will you be the one left behind, or will you guide the souls and yourself to victory?
And that's Catopomp.
So many souls, so many cats, so much success.
Maybe so little time.
So little time. That's the cycle of life.
Exactly.
Now, we're going to kick it off with some key features. What stands out in this game? What are some of the key mechanisms, the theme, that may lead you to check it out?
Let's talk about the obvious one. It is a card shedding game.
Exactly.
And you're going to be wanting to get rid of your hand as quickly as possible, while also strategically playing into that hell domain, which does come with a lot of thought, honestly. And that's probably what I will say, is if you like card shedding games and you want a game with a twist, then Catopomp is definitely something that you'll want to keep your eye on.
I think with these types of games is they're really easy to introduce to people that may not know board games, because most people have played card games before.
Exactly.
And people are familiar if it's trick takers, if it's shedding cards, if there's trump suits, if there's sets. You can begin to use some of that terminology to really bring people in. Here you're essentially kind of ladder climbing is the term, where like you start off with little cards and then the sets get bigger and bigger until you can't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how you get rid of cards essentially. But there's a couple of twists.
There are a couple of twists.
There's a couple of twists, not a couple of twos.
A couple of twos.
that are introduced to this game that make it unique, which is, one, you can use dice in place of cards. You can only do once per turn, you can use 2 dice to make a card.
Yeah.
So its value could add to your hand. And that can be really powerful because you think you don't have anything, but look at here. There's a die, and you have outsmarted everybody at the table. They're in awe. Your cat's going to the afterlife. It's fantastic.
I mean, also that being said, you do also have to pay attention to, as a player who's playing their set out, that you have to pay attention to the potential of what the opponents could do, because maybe they can actually beat your set by using the dice. It's something you definitely have to be aware of when you're playing, and I found that like adds an interesting layer to this game.
On top of that, the second twist is the Hell Domain.
Yes.
Not only do you have to pay attention to what they potentially can play, you know because you see their Hell Domain, and they have to play cards from their Hell Domain to the center.
Yeah.
So there's some thinking, and especially when players pass, when the active player may give cards from their Hell Domain to theirs. So there's a lot of layers of strategy of when do you want to give cards, when is the right time, what is the place to do, and then you're completely distracted by how cute these cats are.
I mean, you could definitely mess somebody up by giving them a card from your Hell Domain into theirs, and that will like really throw off their strategy of shedding their hands.
Well, eventually you have to, because if you have more than 3 cards, bam.
Yeah, but you
Those
could
cats
get
be
stuck
flying.
just passing the whole time.
That's true.
Which is not a very good feeling.
No, it is not. Overall, there's a lot in this game to discover, and it plays fairly quickly too, so you can really get reps in, which I know a lot of card players really like doing. Quickly playing, keeping score, trying again, because nobody wants to play a 3-hour card game. But it's nice to have the option to play 3 hours of card games if you want to continue.
Yeah. Multiple winners over multiple different rounds.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Now, the next point we'll talk about is the theme.
Yes.
You are guiding cats into the afterlife.
Need you say more?
Themes like this are what makes board games so interesting, because you really can explore anything in this world.
Yeah.
And the creativity and the art behind it and the way that the mechanics kind of support that is really interesting. So hold on to those life gems, the soul gems, because you don't want to lose your soul. You want to get to the afterlife safely.
Exactly. Yeah. And then of course the other thing too is it's like this theme makes the game a lot more approachable, because sometimes when you don't have like a theme that integrates well into the mechanics, you can kind of get lost in what's going on. This is like a good way to bridge those two things, and I think it does a good job, especially with like the Hell Domain and I guess the Heaven Domain, because it's in your hand. But the differentiation is really interesting.
I wonder if somebody guides our souls into the afterlife by playing a board game. What if we're on a whim of someone's game?
We're all just living in
we're
a
just
simulation.
there on the table and being like, please don't lose the soul gems. And the other thing I'll add too is the art in this game is just outstanding. I feel like every single number, the cat is so unique, it's so inviting, it's so adorable, and it's another factor that really brings you into this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're all kind of doing different things, but they're all looking super cute, so. That's
like me. I do a lot of different things, and I look cute while I do it.
Sometimes not, but...
When do I not?
Most of the time you do.
Thank you. Now let's chat about some of the variances in this game. Some modules, some of the modes. Some of them may be in this game, but please check out the crowdfunding page to learn what is in this game and what's potentially an additional add-on.
Yes.
Because I don't fully remember. So, with that said, there's a casual mode. So if you wanna take away the stress of the whole passing and the whole Hell Domain...
The stress is not in the passing. The stress is in getting the card.
That's true, in getting the card. There's a lot of decisions to be made around that. The casual mode, instead of passing that card to the player, you can discard it, which is quite nice. So it makes the game a little bit smoother and a little bit easier for first players.
Yes, there's no, like, take that, which is what I would call that.
There's also 2 special cards that you can introduce to the deck. You want to talk about the first one?
Madam Mitch is
the Cat Witch.
The Cat Witch. Yeah.
Madam Mitch, the Cat Witch.
So the Cat Witch plays as a 0, which is really interesting because you can use that as your use that in your hand to get rid of cards. But the cool thing about her is when you play Madam Mitch down on the board, you can also grab the dice and she'll mirror the dice that you grab. So maybe you have an 8 in your hand, Madam Mitch, and there's a 6 and a 2 dice. Boom! 3 8s on the board because Madam Mitch can copy those dice that you decide to use.
They didn't see that coming.
Exactly. And maybe that's exactly what you need to empty your hand. I think Madam Mitch is a powerhouse.
Yeah, there's a lot of variances of how you can play her, which is fun. The other card is Catleton, which is really fun to say. I encourage you to say it out loud right now.
Catleton.
Catleton.
Nice.
Now, what Catleton lets you do is essentially play a card from your Hell Domain. So what you'll do is you'll play the Catleton into your set that you're playing, and then you'll discard it and replace it with one of the cards from your Hell Domain. So remember that rule where you can only play one or the other? The Catleton
breaks it.
Twists it up.
Hey.
From the undead, from hell, Catleton rises.
Exactly. Spooky.
Spooky. There's also a competitive variant for 3 to 4 players.
Yeah, you want to push your luck?
You want to predict how many cards you'll play in your last set to get rid of all your hands.
Yeah.
So maybe from your hell domain, maybe from your hand. But if you correctly guess that number, you'll get a set amount of points. If you're within 1, you'll still get points. But if you're not, 0. And I think that really forces you to kind of go towards one of the strategies. Because maybe you look at your starting hand, you're like, I can easily do 4. And then your planet gets foiled with Madam Mitch.
Madam Mitch. See? There's so many layers to this game.
So many layers. But I encourage you to check all those variants out. Check out the crowdfunding page and learn much, much more about Catopomp.
Exactly. So overall, we are basically trying to suggest this game to who?
If you are interested in card games with a unique theme, with a fun setting that has a lot of replayability because it plays really quickly, this game may be for you. There's a couple of twists on some classics that you may be familiar with, but it's also a fun game that you can carry around in your pocket to show to your friends and family. Yeah,
travel portable. It's great. You can easily teach it to anybody, and you know, it only takes 15 to 20 minutes, so play a few rounds.
Now, if you want to learn more about this game, it is coming to crowdfunding. You can check out the link in the description. And who knows, maybe it's already out in the wild in retail, and you're just discovering it today. If you are, let us know in the comments down below, because we would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video,
hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we love talking board games, and we love showing you new ones like Catopomp.
So much fun. Now, for a question of the day, now we are humans guiding cats into the afterlife. If there was an animal that would guide our souls to the afterlife, what animal would you like it to be?
I'm not going to say my favorite animal this time.
No.
Because I thought I would.
I had one come immediately to my
okay,
head.
let's hear it.
The praying mantis. I don't know why, but I could just see it standing there,
or
just
like human-sized.
No, it's tiny. But it does its work to get my soul into the afterlife.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about you?
That's kind of cute, actually. I kind of like that. I don't know, maybe like a kangaroo, because then like it's a giant kangaroo, and then them bringing you over to the afterlife is them carrying you in this their giant pouch.
Wow. That's something else.
That is something. Through.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch
you
in the next one.
Love it. Bye.